Let's get into it. So the first time I'm shooting a video for the second time, I want to listen to this clip again. Anna Paulina Luna was on Danny Jones' podcast. She brings up what happened to Charlie, and she says there is a foreign government that is funding or there is a foreign government tie to this whole thing. Okay, and her theory is, and she's presenting it like it's fact, but this very much sounds like a theory. And okay, and it's not Philadelphia. It's not that place in the Middle East, Philadelphia. No. It's a different place. So listen to this.
There's been a lot of questions as to whether there was foreign government involvement.
In which one?
In the assassination of Charlie Kirk, right?
Okay.
So like we're going to address these theories right now. Back during the ICE riots, do you remember all of that at the beginning of the year?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were like, where are all of a sudden these big violent riots coming from? Who's funding these organizations? We found out that there was a foreign funding tied to an individual by the name of Neville Singham, who's a multi-billionaire. And he made his billions by working with the communist Chinese government. And he would take, and he's not a registered agent, a foreign agent, which is a FARA violation. So he's taking these millions, funneling it into organizations like the Party of Socialism and Liberation, who then in turn create these very radicalized movements, but they're not even American in theory or funded by American people. They're actually funded by foreign governments. The irony in all this is that Neville Singham, not just to Mamdani's election, so like Jews from Mamdani, but he actually also has ties to funding the Party of Socialism, the Salt Lake City queer group, which is now being investigated with former knowledge on whether or not they knew Charlie would be assassinated, who had ties to the shooter. So I do think that there's a foreign funding tie, but the question is which government, and I think it's tied to the Chinese.
Interesting.
I mean,
was
like
it called? The queer what?
So she's thinking that it's tied to the Chinese because of this billionaire, Neville Singham. So because he's putting money into that, and they are under investigation for possibly knowing about what was going to happen to Charlie because they were connected to Tyler. That's very I think it's very flimsy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's very flimsy. Just straight up, it just doesn't make sense to me. But I understand where she's going with it. You know, you gotta put the blame somewhere, and she's obviously coming and she's trying to. The same thing that happened with Eric. When Eric went on, Eric Bowling, whatever his name was, when he went on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, there was a clear mission that he was on. It wasn't just to talk. He was on a clear mission, and that was to let people know that Candace and Charlie had zero connection. They were not friends. That proved to be not true. The things he said were not true. I think this is what Anna Paulina is doing as well. Honestly, I like her. I like that she knows so much about the Book of Enoch. It's great, you know, all that stuff. But I don't buy this for 1 second. Loomer's over here. What does Loomer have to say about this? Hold on, Loomer's saying a little something here. I just spoke with Congresswoman. Oh, well, that makes me not trust you. I don't trust that Loomer person at all. But let's see what she said. Just talked with Luna, and she tells me that she received evidence that China funded one of the groups, the FBI investigation for ties to Tyler Robinson's Discord activity, where he may have discussed his plans to get at Charlie Kirk. That's interesting. So she just posted this. Danny's episode came out hours ago. She can say that she spoke to Anna Paulina if she wants to, but she clearly saw everybody posting the clip of Danny Jones and Anna talking that I'm showing you now. So cool. You did your research. I did my research too. And now I have the clip, but it's just further. It's so funny. I was just talking about pushing a narrative, and then there's someone here clearly also pushing this narrative. And I am no fan of China at all. I'm no fan of particular billionaires either. And I'm definitely no fan of the Salt Lake City people who were connected to Tyler. But I can tell when somebody's pushing a narrative. I just straight up. So let's jump in here to Salt Lake City. I just want to see if there's anything that pops up that I can bring to you guys. Salt Lake City queers. Never thought I'd be searching that. I'm telling you, researching things makes your algorithm and your search history so muddy. Just gross. If someone searched this up, they'd be like, yeah. Okay. Incriminating evidence here. We have September 13th. So this is Tyler's girlfriend. Tyler, or boyfriend, whatever. Tyler's roommate, who tipped off the FBI, is identified as family, refused to identify or deny transgender motive for Charlie Kirk passing away. No confession. Salt Lake City, they just wiped their social media clean. Are they one of the leftist Antifa groups implicated with Tyler Robinson? So basically, they just have heavy ties to Tyler, possibly. I mean,
I'm more political.
This is just him confirming that he's dating the person. This is actually an interview with someone that knew Tyler.
May have been transitioning. Did that correlate with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so he was going to have an operation.
Okay. So there's nothing really that's showing that Tyler was really connected to this group, other than some Discord texts, communications, and Discord came through and said, no, these communications weren't done on Discord. This is another messaging service. And apparently they've been subpoenaed, so we'll see what that turns into. But let's jump back over here. Sorry to interrupt the clip. I wanted to check that out. I mean, again, her theory just doesn't make any sense to me.
What?
Salt Lake City queers.
Salt Lake City queers.
They're being investigated by the FBI. But if you look at the organization and where the funding comes from, I mean, not just them, they had ties to groups in Cuba and they are actually calling themselves terrorists. But not just that, they also have ties to the United Nations. So there's this aspect of a very pro-globalist and then a pro-Marxist movement to really sow discord and divide in this country. And that's why I recently posted on my social media, I was like, check out the bot farms that actually exist. And when you see all this shit talking on Twitter, make sure you're not arguing with the bot, because that's not like a fake thing. It happens. And so we have to realize that social media is being used to kind of stoke this divide. But in the instance of the shooter, Charlie Kirk was almost like a son to President Trump. Don Jr. will tell you was like his little brother.
Right.
Very close to J.D. Vance, very close to Kash Patel. So if you think for a second that there will be any amount of resource spared in his investigation, you're wrong. Because I know these people and I've seen the way that this administration has worked towards at least issuing some of the darkest secrets. For example, what happened with CIA and the connection to JFK's assassination. I've met with the director, but to, I think, really take into account that you have the family that is seeing all this stuff out there right now. I hope that they get every single person involved. I definitely think that it's likely that more than one person knew about what was happening, because the Salt Lake City queer group immediately deleted their page. They're under investigation. There's a foreign funding tie there. For Tyler Robinson to say that Charlie was, hateful and that he just wanted to eliminate his hatefulness, where does that come from, right? Like, if you actually listen to the things that Charlie was saying and you don't clip it, you can realize it was a very logical conversation that he was trying to have. If you don't agree with it, it's still not a reason to murder someone.
Right. Well, I think the problem is people have valid questions about the narrative that was immediately projected out into the media. That obviously, if anyone with half of a brain can see that there are massive holes in it. There's big questions. There's the things like the Discord thing where Discord came out and like denied it. There's like the rhetoric.
They're being subpoenaed too, by the way, to go testify before Congress. So they're going to be coming to testify before the Oversight Committee. Yeah.
And then like the way he wrote the messages, which doesn't seem like something a 20-year-old would write. There's the whole history between him and his boyfriend, and like the weird love letter he wrote to him detailing everything he was going to do. There was the video of him getting pulled over by the cops, which didn't seem to like match up with the way he was using his language there. The Dairy Queen casually getting an ice cream. You know, if you're a sociopath, maybe that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
There's just so many strange things happening with, I mean, even the guy, I don't know. I've been following the whole Candace Owens thing. I've been trying to follow. Have you paid attention to what she's been doing?
I haven't seen too much of it.
So she's dropping these videos every day.
She says she's trying to stay off social media. If you go check her pages, like I'm just gonna randomly do it right now. Here's her personal page. Let's see. So that's September 21st. Good for her. That says 1 minute ago. Hold on. Am I tripping out here? This is 1 minute ago. So she just posted this a minute ago? Am I tripping? Yeah, that says a minute, right? Okay. I didn't plan that. I just went to search. Let's go to her Congress account really quick. Because you know she's lying about not seeing what Candace is doing. She's one of the more plugged. She just reposted this 3 hours ago. She posted this 4 hours ago. Okay, she posted this. BLM. She posted that just 8 hours ago. Okay. She posted that 13 hours ago. Okay. So she's trying to stay off social media. It's not working, but she's trying nonetheless. You know, it's just that she can't admit that she's been seeing Candace's stuff. You know, she's not in a position to say, yeah, I've been seeing what Candace is saying. You know, you can't do that right now. Everybody has to go with the narrative that she is an absolute crazy person. Here, let's go back. Where is my clip? Just ran away from me. There it is. Let's go.
Get 5 million views in like 24 hours. It's insane. And she's talking to all these people that were involved in it, politicians running around Utah, and they all have different stories. You know, it's all super strange.
Well, the good news is that the trial should be public. So that'll all come out in Discovery.
Oh, that would be nice. Unlike the
which
Epstein
I'm
trial.
a huge fan and just direct transparency, but you have to understand too that there's an open investigation into this. So if you have the FBI investigating Salt Lake City queers, foreign funding ties, multiple people under investigation, they're not going to be able to give that stuff immediately, but you should be able to see it, and it's all going to come out in Discovery because they have a full-fledged trial. So I think a lot of those questions will be answered, but either which way, I mean, the reaction of a group of people, even people in Washington, to the assassination of another American was really disgusting to watch in real time.
Yeah.
And it was even more disgusting to see that people, instead of saying like, hey, this was like another American that got shot, they're trying to justify it. And then when people were basically held accountable to their employers, like, hey, this is not like, if you are representing a company, right? You probably shouldn't be like saying, great, kill his wife next. And that's what some people were saying. I actually worked with the some of these different social media companies, and I was like, hey, there's photoshopped images of children with blood splatter.
Man, this is very odd. Again, I agree with her that it's wrong to do anything like that. But at the same time, I'm not going to veer away from the fact that I can tell she's just pushing some kind of narrative. She's just doing some kind of damage control. There's so many voices right now, Candace being one of them, Tucker, Megyn Kelly. There's all these, and then also the creators that aren't as big as them that are all talking about this. I guess I would be one of them. And there's just so many of those voices that they need something to counter. So what do? They go on the biggest podcast. They can't go on the absolute biggest podcast because she was just there, and that would be a little hard to do. It's harder to squeeze into Joe's, into his rotation. Can't really get that done. So they go for Danny Jones. Maybe it's a little easier to get on Danny. You know, he wants to talk to someone who's a congressperson. It helps his catalog, helps them get their message out. But that's what I see happening right here. I mean, I like what she's doing with disclosure. I have some questions about that even. But this, I don't buy this. Now, I will say it's very odd that Salt Lake actually took down all their social media. I don't even know how you're allowed to do that, because it should be classified as evidence if you're being investigated, and then you just wipe it all away, right? You shouldn't be able to do that. Maybe you can. But another thing that Neville Singham, that billionaire, he was investing into the People's Party of Socialism and Liberation. I've done heavy research into that party. They're very organized group, I'll say that. And they are definitely funded not just by this Singham person, but by Soros as well. And yeah, they're at the heart of a lot of protests that you see out and about. If you actually go to them, you'll see they always have a presence. But just because that billionaire is financing this group and that group is tied, or Tyler is tied to that group because he's like finding community in those people, I don't think that links China to what happened to Charlie. I don't think that makes sense at all. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does make sense. To me, that just doesn't fly. Okay. Listen, it's between China and Philadelphia. I'm just saying, like, which one makes more sense? You know? Oh, the next comment on this clip that I was showing you, it's somebody showing that Anna Paulina received $30,000 from Philadelphia. So there's that too. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? You really gotta sift through everything. But I just wanted to show you guys that I'm not buying it myself, but of course I'm still gonna bring it to you guys. You guys let me know if you're buying what she's selling with this whole thing. Trying to fool us with a smoke show. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Am I wrong? They're trying to trick us with a smoke show, boys. Boys. We don't fall for that type of stuff. Brothers in Christ here. We don't fall for that type of stuff. Brothers in tinfoil here. We don't fall for that. We got our tinfoil Speedos. Okay? They help us go into deep waters, and they also act as chastity belts. We are pure. Not going to fool us with a smoke show. Anyways, guys, just wanted to bring that to you. I'm out of here.